Today I'm going to be going over George Janko's personal brand, specifically his clothing apparel brand, The Heart of David, and how I would go about converting more sales with email. First off, we're going to start off with the pop-up, and then we're going to go over a couple of his emails and how I would improve them. Starting off, we're going to go over the pop-up super quick. This is one of the things where you have to continually A/B test, but this is George's current pop-up, and these are more of the examples of what I could see doing better for his brand. All similar variations, but you have different CTAs and different picture layouts and different coloring. This is what I got when I totally made a fake cart to get an email, but as you can see, it is just the Shopify default setting, and not saying these don't convert, but they could always convert better just because people are so used to seeing this. So this is actually what I went in and redid. Now, email abandoned checkout emails do not need to be super overly complicated. But the number one thing is just going to be having that button more or less in their face. And so for this one, I put a headline, subheadline. This would be like the static Shopify, Klaviyo, anything along those lines of what's actually in the cart. And then you're going to have that button down right there next to their thumb so they can just press it really quick. Most of the time, people aren't going to scroll on these, but God forbid they do. They have some really cool pictures. And then you have the footer. Here is more or less of a second one. So you have the first one is always going to be kind of like just like a little nudge. The second one, usually what you would want to do is position yourself as to why you are better or what sets you apart from competitors. But George doesn't have a whole lot of testimonials on his website, so I kind of just made a mock-up of what it could look like. So you have the header up top, and then you have the static cart, and then you have a subheadline, button, that'll be right in the person's face. And then you would go in, have some testimonials, maybe have some more product pictures, and then you're going to have that footer again. Now, this one is actually going to be a new release for the Pray for Your Friends collection that George just released. Super cool collection. I love it. The one thing with this email is you have these buttons up top, which is a no-go. It doesn't really give me a whole lot to go off of. Secondly, this button down here, one, doesn't really look like a button, and two, doesn't actually show up on iPhone when like you open up the email. You have to scroll for a second to get there. Although this whole picture is a button, in brains, it just does not register as like, oh, I can click this and get this exact product right now. Because when you click this, it just brings you to the home page. So what I went in and did is actually kind of separated it. So I went with the headline, subheadline, and then I went with the call to action and the hero picture of the Pray for Your Friends. Then you go into collection favorites, which is just going to be every single one of these will be their own product section. And when they click on buy now, it will take them to that actual piece of clothing that they do like. So say they don't like this one, they absolutely hate this one, but they get here and they're like, oh man, like that cream one is so cool. They can actually click this versus going here, clicking the cream one, and it just takes them to the homepage, and then they have to do more digging, and just it overwhelms the customer quick. And then if they don't like any of those ones, it has a shop all button. Now, this one wasn't actually a remake. The one thing I did notice is when I signed up for the pop-up, there wasn't actually a welcome sequence. It was just kind of non-existent. I just started getting promos. So this is one of the like 7 to 14 emails I would put inside of George's welcome sequence. And the first one is going to be, if it's coming from this one, you would have your 10% off. And then it would go straight into like, hey, here's what you get. This is a slight bit about our mission, but as a token of gratitude, shop 10% off now on your first order and get 10% off of a shirt, yada, yada, yada. Then it has some recommended clothing and things along those lines, again, with the same separate buy nows, and then you have the shop all, just in case. That is everything I would do for George Janko's brand. George, if you see this, hit me up. No. If there's anything else you would add or change, comment down below, and if there's any other brands that you want to see me redo, comment down below. Peace.